Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and I have got a brand new Christmas item out. It is going to be an advent calendar, and it comes all together in one kit, and this is what it looks like. There are flaps, there are 3 sheets of flaps, and then there are pages. And there are 7 pages as we count down. So it counts down from 24 days to Christmas. And it's going to be journal style. And the reason there's so many pages is because we're making them into pockets so that you can put notes or treats or something inside. And then these are your tabs. Okay, so here we go. Something new and different, and it's going to be fun. So I'm going to start on the Advent calendar. So that means I have to cut everything out. And so these pages, you're going to cut the edges off. Don't cut it here though. Normally, if you're thinking about my mini journals, a lot of times we cut these. Don't cut it because we're going to fold it there. So just all you have to do is cut the edges off of the 7 pages. Then you've got 3 pages of tabs to cut out and ink. And then you got a bunch of tabs to cut out. Or sorry, did I say tabs? Okay, these are flaps. I'm calling these flaps because these are going to cover up the number. And that's not a very good example. Here. These flaps will go over these different numbers. And then these tabs, I'll show you what we're going to do with those at the end. But go ahead and cut them out. That's a lot of fussy cutting, but it'll be worth it when we're done. Okay, so I'm going to cut all my stuff out, and then I'll be back. Okay, I am back. Got everything cut out, and it went pretty fast, actually. So what we're going to do is we are going to score our pages. So I've got my scoring board out here, and we're going to score them at this direction. We're going to do 4 inches. And then we're going to do, there's a line in the center on at least one of the pages. So find that line. And then you're going to fold it this way. And I'm going to go ahead and unfold it and fold it this way. And then we'll figure out which way it's going to go later, but that's the initial fold. So go ahead and do the rest of them. Hope everybody is having fun today. Doing some crafting or watching videos or doing something. I challenged myself to design something new for Christmas this year, and this is it. And it's different than anything I've done before, so it was a challenge. And I tested it and had to make some adjustments. And so I think we are ready to hit the road running, hit the ground running, whatever the saying is. Now, one thing different about this journal, we're going to have each one of these pages as its own signature. So don't freak out. It'll be okay. But we need it because we want to leave room for treats or some sort of little surprise inside each page. And so to do that, we had to create the page or create the pocket, and so it makes it more bulky, and we need to give it more space in between the pages so that there's room for your little surprises of whatever they are. And they can be tags, little verses that you've written, little handwritten notes, candy if you want to get some really thin candy and put in. And so be thinking about that, how many you need to make. These are mini journal size, so they're small, they don't take as long to make. And definitely this goes fast. Cutting them out went pretty fast too. And I'm going to get my bone folder, folding bone, however you want to call it, and get these really nice and flat once I distinguish which way they're going to fold. So I'll show you what I mean. Oh, before I put this away. Now, some of these flaps, when you cut them out, they have nothing to identify them. So I took a pencil and just wrote the number because it says it on the page right next to it what flap it is. So this is number 24. These have it on the flap, so you don't have to worry about it. But several of them need to have the number written on them. That will save you time. Like all of these needed a number. So anyway, but the ones with flaps, I'm going to go ahead and score those. Try to get that line centered on one of these little... When I was a kid, I don't know, I missed out on this advent calendar thing. It looks like a lot of fun, and I worked at a company that designed these, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of them. So it's just a fun thing to count down the days. It's for kids or grown-ups or whoever wants to count down the days from December 1st to Christmas Day is the idea. And usually there's a little treat or something or a little picture. A lot of them you open it up and there'll just be a cute little picture underneath. But that will be up to you how you want to handle it. These will be, I'm warning you ahead of time, these are going to be very wide. So in order to accommodate your treat or your gift or whatever. And that's up to you. Like if you are just putting little notes in, it's not as important to leave room. If you're trying to put something else in there, you're going to want more room. And also we're going to need some brads. You don't have to have them, but there's several ways to attach the ones that don't have flaps. You could use a paper clip. You could use the little brads. That's what I intend to use on a lot of them. You can just glue them, and I'll show you how you can do that. Okay, did I get, oh, there's one more little flap there. Okay, so, ooh, that didn't come out very straight. Okay, I think that's it on the flaps. And I'm going to get my ink and just real quick hit the ones that folded on the edge where the flap is, so they match all the way around. That is so cute. Look at this. It's these little kids with these little pigs. They're letting it out of a gunny sack. Okay, I think that's it on that. So we're gonna take our pages now. Okay, so we've got these creased and folded, and so you're going to figure out how they go. So that you're going to fold them this way, and then it's a countdown, so it would go 5, 4, 3, 2. So it folds this way, and then take your folding bone, because it still doesn't lay exactly flat, just because those scoring boards are not perfect. So you mash it down as flat as you can get it. It's going to be a little bit off. Don't worry about that. And just go through them and fold it this way. And then, you know, it goes 21, 20, 19, 18. So you fold it that way. And fold it with your folding bone. And so on and so on. One day. Now this last one, there's one day, and then inside it says it's this scene, and it says Merry Christmas, because that will be Christmas Day. And the back is just an extra page that we had. So that's what that will fold up to be. I'm going to show you the flaps. I'm going to start with this one because it's the smallest one and I don't want it to get lost. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one right now. And it's a little circle. Here it is. It says one flap. And so I didn't even finish cutting it out. This is the tiniest one. And so this one was made to blend into the picture, that you wouldn't even see it. So I will just ink it a little bit, which might help it stand out so you can see it. Now, what we're doing, I'm going to get my awl out of my book binding kit and a piece of styrofoam. This is going to be super fun. I'm going to unfold it. Very important. Unfold it. You don't want to stab holes all the way through. And then get you whatever brads you have. I've got some fancy brads here. Tim Holtz. He makes long fasteners and then he makes mini fasteners. And they're a lot smaller than, let me see, let me get some out here. See how much smaller those are. But they will work, especially on something really small. They'll be good for that. So for this one, I'm going to use that. And so what I'm going to do is unfold it, lay it over my little piece of foam, and line this up where it goes, poke a little hole in it, up here at the top, and put one of these little baby fasteners in. And then open it up. And there's your little flap. And so when the time comes, you just move it out of the way. Uh-oh, I didn't get it. Oh. Okay. Well, it's good that I made a mistake on the first one, right? Okay. It never fails, girls, when I do these demonstrations. If it can be done wrong, I can do it. All right, I'm going to mash that down. I'm going to put a little piece of washi tape over it. Like that. And this one I am going to mash down and put a little piece of washi tape over that. Okay, I forgot that when I designed it, I meant to put the hole at the bottom. Now I remember. Okay, so you'll put the hole down here and then it will move like that. Okay, let's try this again. And I'm going to leave this on the video. I'm not going to edit it out because I want you to know that if you do mess up, you can still fix it. Okay, so I'm going to put the brad down in the bottom. Like that. Like that. Okay. So that you can move it. And it says 1 day till Christmas. And I even got that kind of close. So get it as close to the bottom as you can. Okay. So there's that one. And that's actually the only one on that signature that you have to do. So I'm going to put that away and grab, let's see. I could get these all in order, but that wouldn't be any fun. Let's see, 11. Okay, here's 11. So this is going to go over this. So unfold it again and we'll place this over it so that it covers the words. And this one, I think we're safe to put one of these brads at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and poke a hole up here. And take one of these decorative ones that I got. These are from Bo Bunny from years ago when they had them at Tuesday morning. And I want to press that as far down as I can so it holds it really good and tight. So that'll swing up, or that way, and show that it's 11 days till Christmas, and 12. Okay, now these two, I think I made them to go all the way up to the top. Yeah. So these are just going to be glued on. So you're going to be sure and get glue right along that folded edge. And then kind of center it over the lines, put it at the top. Like that. And then, let's see, 10, 12. Okay, so this goes with this one. This is 13, this is 13. So this little half circle, what this is for, if you want to use it on some of these big ones, I made these as examples, and then if you want to do those, you can make more of them. Any of them that you want to pin down, so to speak. This is a way to do it with a piece of paper. So I'm going to glue this, and you just want it to be a little bit over the design, so maybe like that much. And then you're just going to glue a little bit at the top. So line it up so it's just barely over that. Hopefully that's enough. And so then you can, when it's glued in, you can open it like that, and then it just tucks back over that, under that little tab. And I hope I got that. Okay. I'm making all my mistakes right now so you can see it. Okay, I'm going to put some more glue on it. And yes, I did tear that design up, and I'm going to move this up because I think it needs to be maybe a little bit more. And then I'm going to take washi tape and put over the bottom of it. Let's see, this will work. I'm going to get some glue on the whole piece of tape here. Like that. Okay. That way it has a little bit more to tuck into. This one is this. 12 is the sledding party. So I'm going to get glue right along the fold on this and center it over the words. Okay, I took a color sample off some of the ladies' dresses, and there was a shade of pink, so go ahead and ink this since it's a lighter color. And then I'm going to try and not mess it up like I did with the last one. Okay, so I'll put it that far up. Okay, and then 10 days, oh, this one. And this one can go down in the middle. It doesn't have to go up to the top. So I'll put glue on this flap. And then this one also has a little tab. And what you can do if you like to use these tabs, and I was thinking about this is when I designed this, is punch some 1-inch circles. If you have a one-inch circle punch, like we use for our string closures a lot of times when we're making junk journals, just punch out 1-inch circles and cut them in half, and those will work great. And you can use your scrapbook paper or whatever to make them decorative so they're not just a solid color like these. Okay, so this signature's done. Here is the 5 days until Christmas, and this is a big bow. This is a great big full page flap. So we can line your stripes up with that. So go ahead and glue that on. Like that. Here's 2 days till Christmas. This one has a little side tab. I'm going to go ahead and put all these ones on here with flaps, and then I'll decide if I need to put a half circle over. Let's see. That, and then 3 days. This has 3 little kids, so it was day 3. This goes at the very top. Okay, so that one's all done. And then we have this one. Let's see, here's a 15 that goes here. And this one, let's see, if I put a brad here, I'm going to swivel it up. It's got a long way to swivel. I think I'll put a brad over here, be easier. All right, so I'm going to lay that over that. And I'm going to get it as far up as I can so that it still hides that. And put a brad there. And then you can just swing it up. 15 days till Christmas. 15, that goes over here. Okay, always check and make sure that your flap isn't going to cover up your words. So, and make sure that the flap still covers your picture. I mean, covers your words, covers them up, but that this flap does not interfere with them. Here's 16, I'll do that one. This tag. And it's got a little hole in it kind of already, and so I'm going to put my long fastener in it. That's what I'm going to use because it's a little bit bigger. So I'm going to line that up and then make a hole here and then put one of these larger ones in. And then you can just move this out of the way and see how many days you have left. Okay, so that is that signature. All right, let me unfold it. Unfold it, everybody. Okay, we've got 6. Oh, I love this. It's so cute. And make sure it clears the words. And see what I mean? I'm putting it right up here at the top of this. And actually, I want to move it over just a little bit before it, and then covers up the message. 7. All right, this has a side flap. I mean, yes, a side tab, glue tab. So again, make sure you don't stick it over the words. And I'm going to try and center it on the page like that. And then this one is a little bitty one, and it goes up here on 8. Like that. And then we have 9. All right, and this one I think might be one that needs to come down from the bottom. So I'm going to put it as far down as I can so it definitely covers that white flash, the circle, but no farther than I have to. All the room at the bottom that I need. And let's see, have I got any? Well, I'll go ahead and use this bigger one. Okay, so that moves down and that one's done. So this is going really fast. Okay, and then we have this one, and this is the front of it. So this is your title page. We have 24, goes over here. So it covers this up. Let's see, I guess I could use it on this one. Yeah, since it's such a large one. These are big brads though. I don't know that they're gonna swivel as well as some of the other ones, but that's all right. Okay. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it works all right. Okay. And then 23 is this one. Oh, I do want to, yeah, I want to do a brad on that. So let me get out a couple more of these really small ones. So put that on there however you want it, however you think it looks the best. And I think I'm just going to barely get it down here so I have more room at the top. And do one there. So if you don't have all these special brads, don't worry about it. You can use the ones from Walmart. They'll work just fine. The shiny gold ones. And that looks real Christmassy too, so don't worry about it. And then this is 22. I love that one with the like the warthog or something, and a deer and rabbit sledding. And then try to get it straight. And there is that signature. And just know that and then you want to figure out which way it's going to fold. So this will be 21, 20, 19. So it's going to fold like that. These, see how they kind of buckle? That's just because of paper takes up space, and so when it wraps around itself in a couple of layers, it is not going to lay flat. So you take your folding bone, smash it out. 21 days gets this one. Be sure you unfold this. I've already punched a hole in mine, but you're going to take your awl and you're going to punch a hole, lay it where you want it, figure out where you're going to put your brad. So on this one, I've done this once before and I redid this. I redesigned it. And so that's where the hole's going to go. So I'm going to lay it where I want it. And then punch the hole. Okay, and then we have 20, peace on earth, goodwill toward men, and that's also a brad. Which is the little candy cane. So you want to put that so it covers your words. Okay, and this one's here. And then we have 18 days, and that's this one. And this one I put at the bottom because this way it can swing out away from everything. I don't know if it matters, but that's what I decided to do. So I'm going to put the hole down here. And then that one can spin down like that. So you've got this signature done. I wanted to show you too, I've done several iterations of this to see which works best. And I just wanted to show you there's a couple of choices you can do. This one I attached with the little brad, and you can just spin it around to show the number. Or you can take this and you can use your scoring board and you can score it so that it will fold, and then just put glue on that side of the score and glue this on like that, and then it just flips up like that. So if you don't want to use brads, there's another choice. Put your flaps on, and then we're going to take our glue and we're going to glue these shut at the bottom. Like that. And that's going to create pockets to put all your treats and notes and things in on each one. So like here. Oops. Let the glue dry first. And so if you see advent calendars, they have usually a little treat or a little surprise. And so it's going to be up to you to decide what that's going to be. Now, I was just determined that I was going to put candy in mine some way or other. And I have tried several different iterations. And if you see advent calendars, they have usually a little treat or a little surprise. And so it's going to be up to you to decide what that's going to be. Now, I was just determined that I was going to put candy in mine some way or other. And I have tried several different iterations, and it makes this really thick. And so you're going to have a wide spine on this. And before we just determine the size of the spine, and each one of these is a signature that we're going to sew in, because if you put candy or something in them, they're going to be pretty thick. This one I've got candy in. I was just testing it. Let me drop that out. I got some of those Andes mints. I was trying to find the thinnest candy that I could find. I'm just going to drop some candy in. And it'll help if you don't put them all the way to the back. So I'm just going to put some candy in. So here's one of my experiments. I took the Andes candy, and I used my 3-in-1 glue, and I glued one closer to the top and one closer to the bottom. And then we have our tabs. And so let me cut these out. Cutting these tabs out will be something you could do in front of the TV some night. I haven't cut mine out. These are the first ones I've tried. And then I'm just going to fold them. I could use the scoring thing, but it's just easier to fold them. It'll lay better if you do that. Okay, and so my thought was, so what I did is, this is a 3x5, or let's see, is it 3x5? I think it was a 4x6, and I got two. Yeah, it was a 4x6, and I cut it kind of in half because this 4 inches was exactly the right width to stick into this pocket. So what I was thinking is, you can put this in here, and then you can attach the tabs and have it be like this. And so they'll show. And so you would pull out the card for 24, and there would be your candy. And then the next day, when you go to 23, you would have the candy on the back side of the card when you pull it out. So that's kind of my plan. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do and how it will look, but it's up to you to put whatever you want inside here. And if you feel better just putting maybe you could put little verses or your tags that you've made with junk journaling, different Christmas poems, or whatever you want to put. If you want to do that inside here, then you could just attach your little tab to it, or you could take the 3x5 or 4x6 or whatever, and you could put it on the card and then attach your little item to the card, and so it's pulling in and out. So whatever you want to do, that part of it is up to you, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. First, we want to get these in order, and I'm going to just put this in here to see what happens. And I don't think you can put, I don't know that you can put two back to back like that. It's probably going to be too thick for a signature. Yeah, and see that candy. So what you need to do is actually put the candy to the front, because the closer to the fold it gets, the wider it's going to be when you bind it. There's one where the candy on this side is way back to the back, and the candy on this one is towards the front, and so they're not laying on top of each other, so that makes it not as thick. So maybe that's the answer to that. And so if this was, and there's going to be 7 signatures, so that is taking up roughly 1/2 of an inch. So 7 times 1/2 would be 3.5 inches for your spine. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just do a 3.5 inch spine. Oh, I've got candy in these just to see. So I'm going to try a 3.5 inch spine, and then I will just adjust the insides accordingly. If the candy doesn't fit, I'll take it out and put in a little card or something like that. But I need to go ahead and bind my journal. Okay, I'm going to use a cereal box. I tell you what, let me cut some of this off. I don't need all this. Okay, so 3.5 inches. And I'll come down here and do 3.5. And then we want to see how tall we want it. And I think this is 5.5. And if I leave about 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, I think 6.5 will be, that'll be 1/2 inch at the top and 1/2 inch at the bottom. So I'll do 6.5. 6.5. So this is going to be a chunky little book. Okay, so that will be the piece that we sew our signatures to. Okay, so let me get my needle and waxed. Let's see, what color do I want to use? I'll just use this. And I've got my awl and I have my piece of foam. So I'm going to put them in order. So make sure you've got your numbers the way you want them. Make sure you've got them folded right. I had that one folded wrong. The biggest number of the signature would be on the front page. So 17, 16, 15, 14. Okay, I'm going to take this out for now. So I'm going to take the middle one. I've got 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and this is the middle one. So it's the one with the deer, and I'm going to put that one in the middle. So let me get a ruler here. And this one is 3.5, and so the middle of that would be 1.5 and 1/4. So 1 3/4 and 1 3/4. So I'm going to draw a line there. And then I need to put the three marks here. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to eyeball it. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take, all right, here's a little piece of scrap paper. So I'm just going to make a mark, kind of like a little template. 2, 3, 4. So I don't have to use my ruler. Okay. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so we've got, this is the middle one, and I'm going to take my middle signature. I want to mark this so I don't get confused. That's the middle one. And I'm going to lay this on here and center it top to bottom, so there's about the same amount of space on both. And I'm going to mark it where I'm going to attach it. And I'm just going like, I don't know, about 1/4 of an inch from each end, and then somewhere in the middle. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I need to mark that same hole. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of make a mark here of where that signature starts. Okay, and then I'm going to just make all these marks while I'm here. Oh, one more thing before we do anything. I've got to cover this with some washi tape or paper. Let's see, what do I have? All right, I'm going to go back and punch all my holes again. I marked my holes on this, so I'm going to go ahead and punch those. Thread my needle. And I'm going to put this here against the side with the paper, the decorated paper. And we're going to come up through the middle hole, make sure I'm on the middle one, and then put it through the middle hole here. And go up through the top hole. And put that in. So, and then I'm going to pull it till there's just a little bit of a tail. Then I'm going to go all the way up to the top here and put that in my hole here. like that. And then put it down through the middle. Just be sure you don't snag that thread if you can help it. And then you want one of these on one side of this long string and one on the other, and then you're going to pull it really tight, and then you're going to tie it 2 or 3 times. I do it 3 just because I have had issues. Okay, so we've got that one on there. I'm going to have to look at this again. So 13, so we want 14 to be next to it. So that goes here, the next one. And I'm going to line it up with this one and make the marks where to punch the holes. Thread my needle. Punch these holes. And sew this to your spine. Come in from the back. And put it in the center hole. Up through the top. And then all the way down to the bottom. And then back through the center, just be sure you don't snag that thread. And pull it out. And then put one side on one side of the string and one on the other. Pull it tight and tie it 3 times. And so on until you get all of these sewn on. And there we have it. There is the framework for our advent calendar. And so now I'm going to look for what cover to put on it. And I've got this cute Christmas fabric that I've been wanting to use, so let me get it out. I got it at a thrift store. Do I want a soft cover? I think I do. Okay. Here are my pieces. They're kind of wonky. Don't ask me why, but they're approximate. So I cut 2 pieces of this fabric. I'm going to use it on the inside and the outside. And put this on the inside of this. I should iron it, but I'm not going to. And this one goes on top. Make sure I've got the green lined up. The quilting batting is a little bit off from the rest, I would say. All right, let me pull it down just. This batting is a little bit, you can shift it kind of up and down. It kind of has some give to it. And I don't mind at all. In fact, I like it if it sticks out a little bit. It's not going to stick out over here, obviously, because I cut it crazy. But I think it'll be okay. And then I'll take it over and sew it on the machine and I'll leave these edges to fray out. I'll go ahead and sew this. So I'm just going to sew a stitch and I'll leave about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. So let me see how this fits. So if it's here, something like that, and then this comes up like this, that will be about right. And that'll be the journal. That will be the advent calendar. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over there and stitch this real quick on the sewing machine. All right, here we are back. I stitched it. It's kind of ugly, but it'll still work. And then I'm going to take this part and I'm going to put 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac. And actually, I feel like I allowed too much on the top and bottom, so I'm just going to cut it off a little bit. I'm just going to eyeball it. I thought these were my fabric scissors for a second. I had to stop. They're not. And maybe that much on this side too. It just looked like too much. Okay. If I put this on the inside or the outside, but I'm just going to kind of make some marks here so I know where I'm aiming at when I get the glue on this. You guys probably watch me and you're horrified at how I do things, but that's the way it works for me. Okay, so there's my middle line. So I'm going to put my glue on. And then I'm going to grab a hold of this, and this is also the center. So I can kind of eyeball it. So roughly there. And I need to scoot it up just a little bit. Maybe too far there. And then I got that much on this side, that much on this side, so that looks about right. And then I'm just going to push it down, get a couple of clamps. Like that, let that sit for a little bit. That is your advent calendar. So if you want to move on and finish it up with your notes and cards and things like that, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and mess around with candy and things and my tabs. So I think probably the next thing is going to be me cutting these tabs out. So I'm going to finish this journal. I'm going to finish this video, and then I'll come back and we'll work on what we're going to put in it. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.